This is the 2019-2020 preseason predictions. Of course, you know how I am. It is the DOUG, and of course we have who will be competing with me once again during the NFL season. It is, of course, Agent 45, Mr. 45, Mountains of Ice, aka Johnny Cage. And how you doing tonight, Johnny, before you go back to the murdering of people in Grand Theft Auto? Good to hear. Now, of course, we're not making our Week 1 picks just yet. And I say that because there's going to be people like, oh, who are you picking in Week 1? We will not be doing our Week 1 picks till a few days before the first Thursday night game. And just as a heads up for you guys out there, the first game of the season is the Green Bay Packers against the Chicago Bears. So, yay. And if you want to know the Monday night games for Week 1, it is Texans at Saints and the Broncos at Raiders. So just to throw that out of the way. How big... Okay, Brad, you do know this is Week 1, so everyone technically is ranked ranked at 100 right now. Well, because this is Week 1. East, South, West, and the AFC and NFC, we want to pick the winners. Also, get our 2 wildcard teams in, and then from those... we'll be discussing who we think will make the Super Bowl from those 2 divisions, and then who automatically will win the Super Bowl. Now, I'm just going to throw my first homer pick out there. The first one is Dallas. That's the homer pick. But, again, that's not the legit pick. That's the homer pick. Homer pick means I'm going for my team. But let's get to the legit stuff. First, Johnny, we're going to start with the AFC North. We have the Cincinnati Bengals, so we know I'm kind of a rebuilding mode. They do have a new head coach. The Browns, who had an impressive season last year. You know, they actually got a lot of primetime games this season. They do have a new wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., and they got a hot rookie quarterback who had a good year last year. So Cleveland's looking on the up and up. Baltimore has offensive questions. Is the quarterback who they got with a Falco for, is he actually going to be able to play a whole year and not get injured, or is he going to be like an RG3 type of quarterback, a one-hit wonder? And then, of course, you have the Steelers, who are also kind of rebuilding, and could this be Big Ben and their head coach's last hurrah? So, I'm going to start with the Bengals. I don't see them even being in contention in the North. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I have them at 2-14.
You have them 2-14? I have them being dead last in the division as well. I don't trust them. Apparently, Brad said RG3 is already injured. That's not a surprise. Bengals are in rebuilding mode. I think they are probably, out of all the teams in the AFC, probably the longest shot because of the rebuilding and everything. So we're just going to eliminate them right now. So that leaves the Browns, Ravens, and Steelers. I had a hard time with this one. Johnny, I'll let you go first.
Especially with a more difficult schedule.
Yeah, they do have a more difficult schedule. They really only they do have still good players.
They do have some key losses. But yeah, that third.
Steelers, I have as third as well. I don't trust the Steelers that much. Brad says the stream is extremely lagging. Of course, watch it be the time I actually get a chance to get on Ham Radio Guys fucking home. But yeah, so that pretty much leaves the Ravens and Browns, who we think are going to win the North at this point.
I'll go first. I have a tie for first. Baltimore and Cleveland finished 11-5.
Alright, so that means you not only have both of them, you have both of them, I guess, making the playoffs then, correct? With the way the record would be. Oh!
Tiebreaker.
Browns will be... So you have Browns as the being on the outside team looking in at 11-5. Ouch.
That really stinks.
That... I don't think that's ever happened. I know there's been a few times where a 10-6 team hasn't made it in, but I don't think I've ever seen a team 11-5 not make it in.
It depends how the season goes.
It does depend how the season goes, but most time if you're 11-5, you do get in. For me personally, I had a hard time with this because I think the Ravens' defense is a little better. Granted, Cleveland's defense has improved a lot. But what worries me is the offense of Baltimore. I don't trust their quarterback yet. I've said before, yes, he did have a nice sub-rookie year, but people forget Joe Flacco did lead in that. And I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of quarterbacks who mostly run the ball more than pass. I've never liked that, even with Vic. But at least to Vic's credit, he knew sometimes it was best to slide out of bounds or run out of bounds and avoid the hit. A lot of these other running quarterbacks that just run the ball a lot with their legs instead of passing haven't learned that yet. Cam Newton would be one I would say. RG3 would be another. So with that being said, I'm sorry, Brad. I think if you got Kaepernick as your backup, I think a lot of people would not be happy because I never did like Kaepernick as a player. I always thought he benefited from a good coach. Once that coach left, he sucked. I'm going to take Cleveland wins the division. Furthermore, I think Cleveland will be the third seed in the AFC. I think they would be better than at least one other team. As far as for Baltimore, I do have them being in the playoffs as the 5th seed. So Cleveland's the 3rd seed. Baltimore's the 5th seed. Okay, before we get to the South, because I think that one's probably the best competitive one because all 4 teams have a chance. Brad, not really. Defense isn't one champ. That is the same, but over the last few years, we've seen defense has not mattered as much. Excluding this past year's Super Bowl, there has been no defense in the Super Bowl.
It was just lack of offense.
Yeah. Excluding this past one with the Patriots and Rams, almost every other Super Bowl you could say there was no defense at all. Just look at the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl game. How did that go? And then Atlanta and the Patriots. Atlanta's defense took a nap in the second half. Speaking of the Patriots, let's go to the AFC East. Probably the least competitive division. I'm just going to say this. Patriots winning the division. I got them as the number 1 seed.
That's an interesting statement.
I'm sorry. They benefit from the fact that if you're playing the Bills twice, who defensively the Bills have improved, but offensively I don't trust. Dolphins, I'm sorry, at this point I think Fire Ninja could be their quarterback. Jets, I think, would be the only team who can compete against the Patriots. But the Jets are still have a young quarterback, young head coach. Yes, the pieces are there for the Jets, but not quite yet. I think give it another year or two, and the Jets could probably be a better threat. I think Jets have a better shot making the players as a wild card team, but Jets are probably the only, I have it on the outside looking at. I have them as the 7th seed at 9-7. I think they get to 9-7, but the Patriots easily win this division. I don't see them having any. If they do lose a division game, it would probably be against the Jets out of any of them. They'll beat the Bills. They'll beat the Dolphins. They could lose one to the Jets. That's the only time I think they'll lose is once in the division. Patriots win it, 1 seed.
I have them actually as the 4th seed.
Wow.
The division easily still. But they lose. I'll just tell you who they lose to. It's only 5. I have them losing to the Jets in week 7. I have them losing to the Ravens in week 9. I have them losing to Cowboys in week 12. And week 13 against the Texans, and week 14 against the Chiefs.
Okay, I can respect that, but by then they may already have had the division locked up, so I think it's the easiest division you can predict, unfortunately. So before we get to what I think is the hardest division to do in the AFC, the South, we're saving that one for last. We're going to go to the AFC West. Now, a lot of things are going on here. Denver's got Joe Flacco. The defense has improved. The offense is looking good. The Chargers, again, you can trust Phillip Rivers doing the You can trust Phillip Rivers doing the season, but right now they're having issues with the running back because he wants more money and a longer contract, or he wants to be traded. So we got problems in L. The Chiefs, division winners last year, but they do have the Madden cover curse to deal with. And then, of course, the Oakland Raiders, they got Antonio Brown. They got the pieces they want. But the question is, Are they purposely going to have another bad year before they go to Las Vegas, or are they going to let Oakland or wherever they're playing at this season have a goodbye? Thank you so much for being an Oakland Raiders fan. I'll let you start this one because I started the Patriots pretty much dominating.
Yeah, you want to just go by position, place by place, since it's a little bit more competitive.
I would, yeah. Who do you have in the 4th place?
I have Denver at 5 and 11.
Okay. I got Oakland at the bottom again. I think the problem is Coach Chucky does not trust. I don't think he trusts Cole at all. And while I think he'll be able to handle Antonio Brown's drama and all that, and before Brad says, well, he's an ex-Steeler, that's why he says drama. Almost every wide receiver has some kind of drama. I just think pretty much every wide receiver. So Cowboys wide receiver, Eagles, Niners, Broncos wide receiver, whatever. I think the Raiders are more caring about going to Las Vegas at this point than actually caring about Oakland. I think the front office is more caring about the move instead of the games. So I don't see the Raiders doing well. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders are on the top 5 worst teams of this season. Number 3, I have the Denver Broncos. I think they will get a winning record, but they're not going to be making the playoffs. They're like the Jets, a team on the outside looking in.
Number 3, I have the Oakland Raiders sitting at 6 and 10. I feel like this team has enough talent to get to 6 wins at least. Even if they don't really have the winning mood, I think they have enough talent to get 6 wins.
All right. And second team, and by the way, Broncos, no Chargers, I have making the playoffs. The other wildcard team is from the division we're about to go to in a minute. But Chargers have the 2nd seed, but they do not make the playoffs. I have them as the Jets as well. 9 and 7, but they miss it because who I has is the 6th seed. So overall, we already know my number 1. It is Kansas City. They will be the 2 seed. They will get that second round. They will get that round bye and not have to play on the wild card. But I think with some of the off-field issues they've had a bit with, you know who, it's going to be interesting. But I think Chiefs have a good enough defense, and I don't think the Mountain Curse will hit them as bad as other teams who have been hit with it. So Chiefs win the West. Chiefs get the number 2 seed in my book.
I have both those teams making the playoffs. I have the Chiefs at the 5th seed at 12 and 4. It's a tie for, and the Chargers actually get the 1st seed.
Wow, you're gonna go with you're gonna go with Phil Rivers finally getting it done, getting the 1 seed.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So by that match, right, since we've already figured, Patriots would be 1, Chiefs would be 2, Broncos would be 3. So you already know in the South, I not only have the 4th seed coming out of here, but the 6th seed as well. And to me, this is the most competitive division in the AFC because each team has a good side and a bad side, and this is usually the most competitive one. Titans, hot young up and coming team. Mariota has something to prove because this could be his last chance to prove something. Texans, great defense, great offense until they got hit with injuries near the end of the season. Jaguars, new quarterback, a quarterback that's won a Super Bowl. And then, of course, the Colts with Andrew Luck. You know, I know he's hurt right now, has had great success with Luck. So we're going to start with the 4th team at the bottom here. For me, I got the Titans. I just firmly believe out of the 4 teams, they're not the most ready yet.
Yeah, I had the Titans too. I have them 4 and 12. I actually think they'll really decline this year. Nothing showed me this offseason that they improved, really.
I agree there. Brad says he can't watch any football this year. This sucks. As actually, Brad, you could watch college football on your days off because there's plenty of college games that they are doing the week. Third one in the second time here, so just know whoever I have third, the other 2 will be in the playoffs. I had to really think, who do I trust? And as much as I think the Texans have the better defense of the 3 teams, it came down to offense, and I'm kidding. The Jaguars are the third seed. In this one. I'm sorry. I think the offense has improved a bit, but not enough to where I think they can surpass the Colts or the Texans. So Jaguars are the third seed.
I am Jaguars third at 7-9.
All right. And of course,
Nick Foles was successful on the Eagles because he actually had a team around him.
correct. No offense. Defensively, I think Jaguars are good, but offensively, they suck. So that pretty much leaves the Texans and Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts being the second team in the South and being the 6th seed overall, and the Texans will be the 4th seed.
For me, I have the Texans as the 6th. I have the Colts as number 2.
Okay, so we did a little flip-flop in there. Alright, so before we go to the... We have said all AFC predictions. We have said who will be in the playoffs. Out of the 6 teams, who do you have on your list going to the Super Bowl?
In the AFC, I have the Chargers.
AFC, okay, and I have Kansas City Chiefs. I think they finally get back to the promised land. So you did, sonically enough, you did pick both teams from the West. It's just you picked the Chargers and I picked the Chiefs. By the way, I will go on record. The worst team to me in the AFC will be the Bengals. Closely followed by the Dolphins. In the South here, of course, Tampa Bay. They have a lot of issues. It could be the last 2 off for the quarterback before Jameis Winston. Great running game. They got a decent defense this year, but of course it's going to be the health of Cam Newton, and then of course Drew Brees.
NFC South.
Yep, who's at the bottom of the barrel? I have a feeling we may both have the same one at the bottom of the barrel for this one.
Let's just say it's Tampa Bay.
It's Tampa Bay. It's Tampa Bay. They stink, and I'm just going to say this right now. Tampa Bay, and last year they surprised everyone by starting out hot. They were good last year at the start. Then they went downhill quicker than Paris Hilton. Tampa Bay, I'm going to say this right now, in the NFC. As much as I would make fun of the Giants, because I know the Giants have their issues and we'll get to them, I have Tampa Bay being the worst team in the NFC. I think they will get the worst record in the NFC. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they get the number 1 pick in the next draft because of how bad they are. I see them purposely tanking at some point because of how bad and pathetic they are. So Tampa Bay, bottom of the barrel, we both agree.
Yeah, but I have them going 5-11, so not as bad as you.
So you're giving them some wins. I'm giving them like maybe 2. That's the over-under for me. Can they get above 2? I don't think they can. 3rd seed, I got the Panthers. Again, it's the Cam Newton thing. Can his health? That if he wasn't just coming off shoulder surgery, I could make a case for saying they have a chance to win it. I know a lot of people are taking Carolina, but I'm not. And that leaves the Falcons and Saints. I will say there will only be one team coming out of the South, and that would be the Saints. I have them as the number 1 seed in the NFC as well. So Saints win the South, and they are the number 1 seed, getting home field advantage again.
I got the Falcons as the 5th seed, and I got the Saints as the 2nd seed.
Okay, so you have Atlanta going in. I do not. I think Atlanta will be one of those teams that's on the outside looking in situation. Heading to the East now, which is always competitive because none of the teams look like they want to win the damn division half the time. Cowboys have issues right now. They do need Dak Prescott, Cooper, and Zeke Elliott all want a new deal. Zeke Elliott's not at training camp because he's holding out right now. Eagles, the biggest question there is, can the quarterback actually stay healthy for once where they don't have to fall on the backup? Now remember, they went all in on, oh God, who's the starting quarterback now?
Carson Wentz.
Thank you. They went all in on Wentz, saying, hey, we don't need Nick Foles. If Wentz gets hurt, it's going to make Philadelphia look like a bunch of idiots. Because he's been hurt the last 2 seasons. Giants, moving on. Redskins, okay, let me go. I'll be nice. Giants, well, I respect Eli Manning. You gave Eli no help. Again, offensive line's decent, but they have already lost so many wide receivers during preseason. We're not even at the first preseason game for them, and they have lost wide receivers due to injuries already. And we're not even at the first game, which, by the way, the first game is Giants and Cowboys for those two teams. And, of course, the Redskins, we know they got the rookie quarterback. They got a decent running game on defense. But the issue was last year they couldn't keep the quarterbacks healthy because they lost so many quarterbacks during the end of the stretch that kind of cost them. I'm just going to say this: the fourth team in the NFC East will be the Giants. I don't see them improving at all. Too many injuries right now. Eli's kind of getting up there, and the question's going to be how long is it before the Duke quarterback gets put in? Which, I'll be honest, I see Eli Manning getting benched around week 9, week 10. And that's me being honest. Straight. I guess you had the fourth seed being the fourth team in the East being the Giants as well?
Yeah.
Alright. Third seed in the East, I got the Eagles. I think personally, if I have to choose between the Eagles and Redskins, I think the Eagles are a little bit worse because of the quarterback situation. He has to prove to me that he can stay healthy for a year, which he hasn't done the last 2 seasons. That has me worried a bit. So, Eagles are the third team in the East. What about you?
The third team is Washington at 8-8.
Alright, so you got Washington at 8-8. And my next two, which, by the way, I do have the next 2 teams going into the playoffs. I have the Redskins going in as the 5th seed. I think they did enough, getting the young quarterback. They still have a lot of defensive pieces and offensive pieces from last year. As long as the rookie quarterback can play good and stay healthy during the whole year, I think the Redskins can get in. I actually had them as the 5th seed. Of course, Dallas, I'm going to take them to win the East. They will be the 4th seed, though. They're barely going to get it. And what about you, Johnny?
I have Dallas missing out the division by a game.
So you got the Eagles winning the division.
At 10-6, though.
All right, and do the Cowboys make the playoffs with that record, though?
9-7 doesn't get a playoff spot.
9-7 doesn't get a playoff spot. All right, so you got the Eagles 10-6, and what would the Eagles seed be?
The 3rd seed.
3rd seed. All right. Oh wait, we skipped one. We forgot which one did we miss? Oh, we missed the North. We got to head to the North real quick.
And the West.
And the West, yeah. For some reason, the North did not want to show up because we were supposed to go from the West in the AFC to the North in the NFC, but it went straight to the South. So Alabama jokes, everybody. In the North, we have the Bears, who looked pretty impressive last year, but what cost them in the playoffs was not bad defense. Offense was the kicker. The Lions, it's the Lions. Moving on. Green Bay, new head coach, Aaron Rodgers. Can he win with this new head coach? And Minnesota, who out of the 4 teams, Kirk Cousins, I think has the most to prove. Because they paid him a bunch of money, but he hasn't really delivered in that, playoff moment. So with that being said, we're going to start with the 4th seed in the North. I got Detroit.
At the bottom.
Yeah, they still need a lot of help.
I got Minnesota at the bottom. I think that Kirk Cousins hiring was a big mistake in my opinion. He hasn't shown me that he is ready to carry a team, and honestly, the Vikings have not improved whatsoever to me.
Alright. Before we get to our 3rd seeds respectively in the North, Brad, there will be a few Saturday games, but those won't be till week 14 through 17, so you'll get to see a few games, if any. 3rd seed in the North, I have the Vikings. Pretty much for the same reasons you have them in the 4th, though, so no repeating there.
Yeah, I have the Packers at the 3rd seed, but the way I have the division lined up, I have Minnesota at 7-9, the Green Bay at 8-8, and the 2nd seed at 8-8.
Alright, who do you have as the 2nd seed? Because it's either the Lions or the Bears.
Detroit. They need some more help. I think they'll improve from last year's disaster future season.
Alright, in the second seed I have Green Bay, but guess what, guys? And I know this is going to make my buddy Travis Glenn a little mad when he sees this. I do not have Green Bay making the playoffs. I have them as the 7th seed overall in the NFC on the outside looking in. So with that being said, I have the Bears winning the NFC North, and they will be the 3rd seed.
Yeah, I have the Bears winning the division at 10-6. They're the 4th seed.
We'll see, all right. And Brad, after I'm done with this, with Johnny, I will actually be heading over to stream Mortal Kombat tonight. Talk to me next weekend where we can probably try to boost the online trophies for Madden. I was told that you could actually do private franchise mode and that should unlock the trophy. We shall see. So far, yeah, you know, you had to like win a Super Bowl in franchise mode and win an online head-to-head match in franchise mode.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. Sure. So we're gonna go to the West real quick. Yes, the Super Bowl trophy, Brad. I'm just going. Bottoms, Arizona. Yeah, I'm not even going to even acknowledge them at this point. The new head coach, and I'm just going to say this. I hope Miami does better than them. Just particularly the quarterback they sent to Miami. I want him to start for Miami and get more wins than Arizona. That way he can do that. He can go to the camera at the end of the season and says, "Yeah, I didn't make the playoffs, you know, and I only got 6 wins, but Arizona only got 2. So, boom, bitch." I know that ain't going to happen because the quarterback wouldn't do that, but that's what I would do. But yeah, Arizona's going to be in the bottom. Brad, apparently you've not been watching my videos the last few days. My cell phone is being repaired. So, yeah. I don't get to look at any text till I get my phone back from repair shop. 3rd seed, I have the 49ers. Wow, wow. Number.
They're the 7th seed.
Oh no, I did not see that. You mean you did not hear that, Brad? 2nd seed in the West and overall will be the last wildcard team. I have the Rams. I think they do take a little bit of a step back, but I don't think it's that far of a back step to where they miss out. They will be the 6th seed, and that means my last team in the playoffs winning the West will be the Seahawks.
I have 49ers at the 6th seed and 10-6. I have the Rams as 1st and 12-4. They beat the Saints in week 2 for the tiebreaker.
Alright, and with that being said, who do you have representing the NFC in the Super Bowl? Oh, boo. I hate that decision already when you know, it's kind of said you had to say legitly because of how they made it last year. With me personally, out of the teams I said, I had the Saints. I think they got cheated out of it last year due to the refs completely missing that call, and the Saints get redemption and go back. Oh wow! Damn. And you have the Rams playing the Chargers. Before I make who I have winning the Super Bowl, Brad, even though the call the Saints could have still won, yes, but here's the issue with that and why your argument is null and void. If the refs would have called that pass interference, the game would have never went into overtime. Saints could have just won the game right there and then, game over, and we would have had a totally different Super Bowl. Everyone's in agreement on that. So, saying, oh, Saints could have still won it and blah, 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 that argument's mute when if the call would have been corrected on the field, Rams would have not even had a chance to win the game in overtime. The game would have been over. That's your opinion on that one. Which, by the way, I would like to point out again, all those refs in the Rams games were from Los Angeles, but I find it funny most of the people overlook that. For my Super Bowl win, like I said, out of the Chiefs and Saints, I'm looking at it. I think the Chiefs may be a younger team. I think Drew Brees gets one more ring and gets to retire as a Super Bowl champion like some of the other great quarterbacks have done in the past. So I have Saints over Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I have the Chargers finally getting a Super Bowl ring.
Over the Rams.
Yeah.
Now, what I would like to point out, you're going with both Los Angeles teams making it in to the Super Bowl. I hate that just because of the fact of it means either way California gets to be happy. And I hate that California will get to be happy in your scenario. I hate that. I don't want California to be happy. I want California to be sad and miserable just like the rest of the United States. Besides, California wins enough with the Warriors, and now the Lakers coming up, so, yeah.
If the rest of my playoff predictions, 6th seed Texans will beat the 3rd seed Ravens. They'll lose to the 1st seed Chargers. The 5th seed Patriots. This is the scary part about the Patriots season. I have the 5th seed Chiefs beating the 4th seed Patriots, and the Chiefs will lose to the Colts. Actually, I'll just say the conference championships, which was Bears, Rams, and Colts and Chargers.
Okay. Before we continue, Brad, not all hot rookie quarterbacks usually figure it out. RG3 got injured. Andrew then had a bad year the following year. 9 times out of 10, second-year quarterbacks usually do have a slump because opponents have figured them out, or the key positions, lineman, wide receiver, running back, they have to do with injuries or them getting suspended. So 9 times out of 10, second year, sophomore year, they have the downs. Very rarely do they get to have the ups. Well, usually it's not the defenses that figure them out. It's either the defense, which is true, or B, the rest of the offense around them ends up has injuries or suspensions that happen. You can't, that's what hurt Andrew Luck. His offensive line became terrible, and he was getting hit 40 times a game. That's not healthy for a quarterback to get hit 40 times a game. That's guaranteeing your quarterback's going to be done. Alright, so before we go, we've made our Super Bowl predictions. What's going to be your craziest prediction of this year?
What do you mean by that?
Could be a player gets traded that no one sees coming, or a team that no one's really predicting could actually have a winning season. Anything like that.
What's your crazy prediction?
Well, since I've already kind of hinted at it, Cleveland makes the Super Bowl for the first time in a decade. I think it's been a decade for them.
Who makes the Super Bowl?
Who makes the playoffs? That's my crazy prediction. The Browns not only get a winning season, but make the playoffs. Brad said the Ravens will probably go to the Super Bowl just because he can't watch it.
If that's true, then let's have them miss all the games, because I want them to win a Super Bowl. But in all seriousness, I hope they do well.
We would definitely shall see. So what's your crazy prediction then?
I think Andrew Luck will have an MVP season, to be honest. I think that's the reason they'll get the 2nd seed.
Alright, nothing wrong with that. Now, of course, just as a heads up, like I said, a few days before the official start of the NFL season, Week 1, we will be making our picks for each game. We'll be going over each game, and Week 1 should be fun because of the fact of you are pretty much basing it off of luck at that point. Yeah, off-season. You technically say preseason, but most times 9 out of 10, the veteran players don't play preseason games in Week 3 and 4. They usually play... let me rephrase that. They usually do play in Week 3 and 4. Yes, the first game is on Thursday, Brad. I did say that at the beginning of the video. But just as a quick heads up for everyone who does not know the games for week number 1, we're just going to show them off real quick. The first game of the NFL season will be the Green Bay Packers at the Bears on Thursday night. Your Sunday games are as followed: Rams at Panthers, Redskins at Eagles, Bills at Jets, Falcons at Vikings, Ravens at Miami, Chiefs at Jacksonville, Titans at Cleveland, Colts at Los Angeles Chargers, Bengals at Seattle, 49ers at Buccaneers, Giants at Cowboys, Lions and Cardinals. The Sunday night game is the Steelers at the Patriots. And your two Monday night games are Texans at Saints, and then the Broncos at the Raiders.
I think the game of the week for me, I think the best game is Colts and Chargers.
For that week, personally, looking at it right now, I think the best game of the week will most likely, depending on how you look at it, of the early games, I'd say Bills and Jets, because that's a rivalry game. Redskins and Eagles should be good because, again, rivalry game. Plus, we get to see how the rookie quarterback does for the Redskins. And then I think the next best one after that will most likely be Titans at Browns. Both young teams hot and ready to go. Well, yeah, Brad, yeah, the Monday night late game will be going past midnight because the game starts at 10:20. So. But that's been the NFL thing, so see you in a little bit for Mortal Kombat 11. Anything else, Johnny? Alright, so see you guys for the Week 1 NFL predictions.